Hey guys, what's going on? Justin Masson here with Nintendo Dads. And today, just about an hour and a bit ago, Google announced their official entrance into the gaming market via Google Stadia, which is the name of their gaming, I don't want to say platform. Well, yeah, platform is actually the right word because it's not a device. So I watched the entire press conference, and I thought I'd give a couple quick little thoughts and impressions about it. First and foremost, overall, I don't think it's a bad idea. I think that there is some definitely very interesting content there. I like the idea that it's built on the network as opposed to potentially the device, and I see, you know, it's coming from a creator's perspective, like from a developer's perspective. I think it's very cool. I think they did a very great job, right? So the streaming future, right? So traditionally we've had the console wars, right? And very much so right now we're in a console war generation where we have Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo. And they're obviously all battling out together. What this is actually doing, this is changing the conversation. So now it's no longer going to be a console war, but it's going to be like a streaming war. And it's interesting that Google kind of gets themselves out there the first out of camp. Now, yes, Microsoft has told us about Project xCloud and given us some idea around that and their conceptual ideas of what they want to do. But we haven't kind of seen them quite come to fruition and to market with that. So Google gets out there first and has that statement. I think there was a lot of really cool things I liked. Not 100% sure about like how it actually feels. They did a great job demoing. Hey, I'm playing on a laptop. I'm playing on a PC. I'm playing on a tablet. I'm playing on a television. And here's the console, the controller as well. Controller looks pretty stock, like from what we'd expect from a controller nowadays. You know, typical. Looks like there's some shoulder buttons, ZLZRs, two joysticks, traditional 4, AB, you know, XY mapping, D-pad, start button, and then interestingly enough, I think IGN pointed out in the very back of it is actually the Konami code. I believe up, down, down, left, right, AB, AB. Or there's some code at the back of it actually. So I thought that was kind of fun. So they revealed the controller as well. I'm not 100% sure how the controller works on like the television perspective. I think they mentioned there's like some Chrome stick Google thing. That's kind of cool. Like if it's just literally I need a Chromecast to put in the back of my television and give it a crack. I think it's kind of interesting. Now what they didn't do, and we have to remember this is the developers conference, they didn't show me they didn't show us prices as consumers, right? So I don't know what the price point is, and I also don't know what games are available at launch. Now they did a lot of jobs promoting, or a great job promoting Ubisoft's Assassin's Creed, and mentioning that beta testing back in October, right? So there was a lot of kind of structure around that, and I think that's fine. Bring out a couple developers, talk about texture mapping, again, some developer chat, which was all right. Then they spent some time talking with the creator side. Now I think this is very interesting. I think one of the things that really stood out for me is their idea of like how quickly you can get in to play a game, right? So I see the game on an advertisement on YouTube, I click play, I can be in there, I can be playing right away. That's great. A YouTube content creator that I'm following is playing something, I can jump in, I can queue in their match. That's awesome, that's great. So I think anything that gets content creators, whether you're a huge content creator like Matt, Pat, or any of those big guys, or really small content creators like us, anything that gets us closer to participating with our community, whatever capacity that is, whether it's a Nintendo game or whether it's, hey, we're all on Fortnite or Apex, and hey, I just want to jump in and play with you. That's a great thing, right? So I think they're finding an infrastructure to do that really, really neat. So I do like that. What that actually looks like, well, a little confused, but we'll see. But I thought it was all about ease of access, ease of entry, and I thought they did a really great job about that. I thought the kind of like Google Assistant kind of component of it, of asking it a question and then getting kind of a response as opposed to, you know, pausing your game and going to YouTube. I thought that was really cool. So there's a lot of really cool functionalities of it. Ultimately, what we have to do is we have to see the games. We have to see the games. They're going to be available. What the cost is, right? So is this like so when I think about it, so Google wants probably for me to buy a controller. Makes logical sense. We're going to play it on my 42-inch television. I need a controller. Okay, that's fair. I get that as well. But is it like a subscription model? Am I paying $80 a year? Is it a Netflix model? Like, what is it? Or is it like an Epic Game Store where I have to go in and I buy every single game individually? Like, what does that look like? to allow you to play. So I think that's very interesting as well. Now again, they said they don't have that information, or they didn't have that information now to share. They're going to share that later in the year, closer to launch. I suspect it's going to be E3, or they may actually wait. Excuse me, fighting a bit of a cold, or wait a couple of weeks, maybe after E3 would be my guess, to get away from that noise and make their announcement there as well, potentially. But I do think it's very interesting, right? Of what they're doing, what they're actually getting to. To be very honest with you, at a blush, I mean, depending on the price point, I wouldn't be against picking it up, right? To try some games, but they have to deliver on the games. That's the big thing. Now they did mention they have an in-house development studio of their own stuff as well. Also partnering or trying to partner with third parties and major studios to bring those games to consoles as well. They did a very hard push to ensure that developers knew that the platform is no longer the limitation, right? Developing for an Xbox is no longer a limitation. It's it's scalable, right? So I thought they did a great job from a game developer's perspective. Tonally, I think this is one of the shifts I think very interestingly is, what does this mean for Xbox, right? So we know the Xbox Stream, Project Stream or Project xCloud is coming, right? So again, Google gets out there front first. Microsoft has had a conversation, but Google's now kind of shown their cards. So what does this actually look like for Microsoft? And it gives Microsoft a little bit of opportunity to maybe even correct or alter some of their plans as well. I think it's fascinating that we have two of the largest tech giants in the industry or in the world now battling out for the streaming space. That's very interesting, right? I think only we as gamers can benefit from that, right? And the other thing I would say is that more competition is good. I know people are like, oh, this is a horrible idea, I don't like it, what's Google doing? The fact that there's competition ensures that, if Google makes a play, Microsoft has to counter, right? It's why there's a console war. We have to have competition. So the fact that we have now two juggernaut tech companies in this streaming gaming competition space is what we as gamers need. That's what we want. We want it to allow us to get different experiences, to try things differently, for us to be expressed, to say that I want to be able to game anywhere. I want this to be easier. I want all these components to work, right? So it's a very interesting industry or tonal shift, and I think it's fantastic that it's actually there. So overall, I think it was interesting. I am very interested to kind of see what price point's going to look like, and I think it's going to be a great experience. There were some things in there I thought were really cool, like parenting functionality or parental locks were available on there. So I mean that's just a Justin thing that I thought was great. But overall, I'm impressed. We'll see more what Google has to reveal in the rest of the year. But overall, I'm interested, definitely interested. But again, I'm more interested to see what Xbox is going to do next. I think that will be the interesting play. How does Xbox combat this? Do they bother combating? Do they change anything? Or do they just say, sure, we're fine with what we've got, guys. We're Xbox. And hey, we're going to be great. So let me ask you this, a couple things. Comments below. What did you think? How did it go? Were you excited about the project Stadia? Stadia takes a bit of getting used to. Are you excited about that? If you were to choose between Xbox's streaming service or Google's streaming service, which one would you get? All right, guys, thanks very much for tuning into Nintendo Dads. We appreciate all of your support, helping us build this very small community and make it better and bigger every day. Thanks for tuning in. Take care. Bye-bye.